to start. We'll talk about code or whatever we'll talk about today. It's about to start, so please hang tight while I check that everything is okay. Sound check, camera check, lights check. How's my hair? Oh, wait, I don't have any hair. Maybe put some pants on and I am good to go. So get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start. Get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start. Hello everyone and welcome to day 5 of Advent of Code. We are doing this. We have a new streaming setup, that's why I am 10 minutes late with this, but the new streaming setup should be smooth as butter, no lags, and my lips should be in sync with the microphone. It's complicated. But anyway, let's get things started. Hello, David.
Hello.
It's great to have you here for day 5. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here is day 5. And you said that, I said yesterday that I wanted you to drive, but I'm going to be driving today, and tomorrow you'll be driving, right?
That's right.
Okay, so day 5. If you give a seed a fertilizer, you take the boat and find the gardener right where you were told he would be, managing the giant garden that looks more like a farm. A water source? Island is the water source. You point out that Snow's Island isn't receiving any water. Oh, we had to stop the water because we ran out of sand to filter it with. Yeah, I have seen those used in like faucets. Can't make snow with dirty water. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll get more sand soon. We only turned off the water a few days, weeks. Oh no, his face sinks into a look of horrified realization. I've been so busy making sure everyone here has food that I completely forgot to check why we stopped getting more sand. There is a ferry leaving soon that is headed over in that direction. It's much safer than your boat. Could you please go check it out? I said that the stream was going to be smooth, and then the internet connection isn't all that great. And the frames are being dropped because of the internet connection. Oh, shucks.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, the stream setup is getting more and more complicated along with the advent of code problems. You barely have time to agree to this request when he brings up another. Another watch. While you wait for the ferry, maybe you can help us with our food production problem. The latest Island Almanac just arrived, and we are having trouble making sense of it. I remember those.
What's that?
It's like a little booklet with essentially trivia, and I guess back in the day it used to be like the way that people got their news from other places.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, they have like what is gonna be good to plant this season and other essential information like that. The almanac, your puzzle input, lists all of the seeds that need to be planted. You can't make these things up. It also lists what type of soil to use with each kind of seed, what type of fertilizer to use with each kind of soil, what type of water to use with each kind of fertilizer, and so on. Every type of seed, soil, fertilizer, and so on is identified with a number, but numbers are reused by each category. That is, soil 1, 2, 3 and fertilizer 1, 2, 3 aren't necessarily related to each other. For example, we have a bunch of seeds, and then we have seeds to soil map. And then soil to fertilizer, fertilizer to water, water to light, light to temperature, temperature to humidity, and humidity to location. The almanac starts by listing which seeds need to be planted. So those are 79, 14, 55, and 13. These are identifiers. They're not quantities, like they're seed identifier 79, right? Okay. The rest of the almanac contains a list of maps which describe how to convert numbers from a source category into numbers into a destination category. For instance, in this case, source is seed and destination is soil. Oh, hi. I'm saying I don't have the chat on the screen today. That's for tomorrow, maybe. But I want to say hello to Nod Was One, Nick, and John. Hey, 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 on the chat.
Hey, guys.
And that is the section that starts with seed to soil map describes how to convert a seed number, the source, to a soil number, the destination. This lets the gardener and his team know which soil to use with which seeds, which water to use with which fertilizer, and so on. Rather than list every source number and its corresponding destination number one by one, the maps describe entire ranges of numbers that can be converted. Each line within a map contains 3 numbers: the destination range start, the source range start, and the range length. Okay, consider again the example seed to soil map. And I guess this was probably 98 to 52. Okay, yeah, that's the first section there. The first line has a destination range start of 50, a source range start of 98, and a range length of 2. So this applies to 50 to 52, 90 to 100. Okay, this line means that the source range starts at 98 and contains 2 values, 98, 99. Yeah, when I said the numbers out loud, I didn't mean inclusive ranges. The destination range is the same length, but it starts at 50, so it has 2 values, 50 and 51. With this information, you know that seed number 98 corresponds to soil number 50, and that seed 99 corresponds to soil number 51. Jeez Louise. The second line means that the source range starts at 50 and contains 48 values, 50, 51, 52, blah, blah. This corresponds to a destination range starting at 52 and also continuing 48 values, 52, 53, and so on. So seed number...
Is that the destination... Is this the destination end, the 52 and 50, or are they still starts?
No, this is the start of the destination. This is the start of the source. Of course, they switched source and destination to make it more interesting.
See, the end.
They are the starts.
Yeah, the end is just inferred from the
length.
Got it. Okay.
So, seed number 3 corresponds to soil number 55. That's because it starts at 50, so it's 50, 51, 52, 53. That's the fourth, and then 52, 52, 53, 54, 55. Okay, got it. Any source numbers that aren't mapped correspond to the same destination number. So seed number 10 corresponds to soil number 10. So the entire list of seed numbers and their corresponding soil numbers looks like this. Okay, this table is just compiling what we learned above. With
Yeah.
this map, you can now look up the soil number required for each initial seed number. Seed number 79 corresponds to soil number 81. It is in this ellipsis. Seed number 14, it's in this ellipsis, corresponds to soil number 14. Seed number 55, it's in this ellipsis, corresponds to 57, blah, blah, blah. Wow. The gardener and his team want to get started as soon as possible, so they'd like to know the closest location that needs a seed. Using these maps, find the lowest location number that corresponds to any of the initial seeds. Location being the last in the mappings? Yes, humidity to location. Okay. Wow. I am baffled by the complexity of this description.
Yeah.
Hello, Fotis. It's great to see you here on the chat. To do this, you need to convert each seed number through other categories until you can find its corresponding location number. In this example, the corresponding types are... I'm not going to read this out loud. So the lowest location number in this example is 35. Yeah, sure.
Yes. I was going to say it's all irrelevant, but actually you probably need to follow the chain through because there's no map from seed to location, so you have to follow the chain. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't see all the maps.
Yeah, no, you need to follow the chain because you start with these seeds and then you will be mapping seed to soil, then to fertilizer, then to water, then to light, then to temperature, then to humidity, then to location.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the lowest location number that corresponds to any of the initial seed numbers? Let's see what the input looks like. Let's see if they're trying to grow the number of seeds or if they're trying to grow the number of steps in between or if both or... They have the seeds.
Ooh, they are bigger numbers than I was hoping.
Yeah.
I was thinking to just build really dumb entire arrays.
Oh,
but it looks like
we're gonna be dumb. We have enough memory. I now have a 2-computer setup for streaming. This machine is dedicated to running code. We are gonna be dumb. We are gonna do brute force here. Who do you take me for? In all seriousness, though, seeds to soil, to fertilizer, to water, to light, to temperature, to humidity, and location. So the maps are fixed. We are getting bigger numbers, and we are getting more of them. But that's all.
Yeah.
Let's use JavaScript today.
Definitely. I mean, I was gonna do Python, but since I'm not driving, I'll do Python tomorrow.
I am starting the live share real quick here.
All right.
And
yeah, nice.
I will share this with you over here on Skype. It's pasting. Pasting between computers is not immediate. And it's too bad, Fotis, that you cannot join us with your camera, but I'm happy that you can join us in the chat. So this is going to be 5.js, and I'm going to keep the description here on the right because we will be referring to it. Let's take this as our input. And perhaps we could be smart and work from destination to origin. We could try and find location. Well, we are looking for the lowest location number. So we could imagine the lowest location number is number 1. So I would see, how do I go from location number 1 back to a seed? Was it one of the seeds that I'm interested in? No? Okay. So number 2 and so on. That's a possibility, but I think it's just easier if we go from seed down the chain and expand this out, and we end up mapping every seed to every possible location. And then just take the lowest.
Yeah. and then just take the lowest, because probably part 2 will require that we do it for all of them or something anyway.
Oh, there's gonna be a
But
part
also,
2. I don't want to think about that.
but yeah, I think the main thing is, so coming back to whether we're going to do proper brute force, is to basically build that table that they visualized there.
Yeah.
But for all the numbers up to the maximum, basically. I guess we can know the maximum like outright, and so I guess we'll need like, I don't know, 6 dictionaries up to the maximum number, which, and they will just be like int to int.
Correct, I agree. There is one thing that I wanted to rely on. I wanted to rely on these numbers being monotonically increasing, but they're not. They're just apparently arbitrary, randomized. Yeah. Meow, meow, meow.
That's okay though. We just initialize the array. You could do a nice list comprehension if we were in Python for that.
Yeah. Okay. So I am starting with like the low-hanging fruits, which is to parse. And I'm splitting and I'm getting each of the sections. And I suppose that the sections are going to be these things. But I will console log the JSON stringify of the sections. Just
yeah,
I
don't think it's... I'm not sure it's worth parsing the actual... you know what? It might actually be nice to use the name. Actually, I don't know. I'm just thinking whether we hard code it or use the name.
Yeah, now I have the sections like so.
Oh, that's almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What about having like a nested dictionary where the key is the label that they've given us already? If you see what I mean. So we don't need.
Yeah, you're saying go through the list and split everything on the column.
Yeah, just so that we can use their names, and then.
Yeah, I want this as a special case, so I'm gonna do, instead of sections, I'm gonna do like seed section and rest section, or maps sections, because these are maps of this to that.
Yeah.
And then my seeds is gonna be this first string, so the seed section. Well, I guess it's seeds section, like that.
Yeah.
And I am going to split on the column, get the second one, which is going to be this.
Sure.
I'm going to trim, so it's going to be that. Note that the space here is gone. Then I'm going to split on the space, which is going to be that. When the numbers get bigger, do we still have just one space? We do. Then I am going to map each of the seeds into a number like so. So when I print this, we should just get 79, 14, 15, 55, and 13. And we do.
I'm with you so far.
Now, we have these maps sections. That are these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm going to parse them and start working on them in one step. I'm going to do just one pass, and I'm going to be parsing and working on the resulting data, just so that I don't have to like think of data structures and blah, blah, blah. So for a map section of maps sections, I'm going to do a bunch of things. Now, a map section is one of those. And I want to have a from, a to. Well, it doesn't matter. It's always ordered, right? So these names don't matter. These names are fluff. It's never the case that we need to be smart about reordering these things. Like, it's not like seed to fertilizer and then we will need to like skip around. Yeah, it's always ordered. Fertilizer to water, water to light map, and light to temperature.
Yeah, we could just do it by index.
We can just do them in order and completely ignore the labels. The labels are just for fun.
So an array of maps?
So I'm going to skip these parts, but I am going to apply a treatment that is similar to this. No, not at all, because the inputs are completely different. So I would just take my map section, which is one of these, and I'm going to split on the column. Or maybe even just split on the new line and ignore the first line. Yeah, I'm going to split on the new line. And I'm going to slice one, which is going to ignore the first element. It's going to skip the first element, which is this description. Yep. And now I have this and that. So it's going to be a map line. I will call that a map line. And I will map over these lines.
Don't you need to split on new lines first?
I did.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Sorry, yeah.
And I could also just do it like this for const map line of that.
Yeah.
And then here I can do finally to from, and they have a name that they're using here and they call it the range length. So I'll call this the destination range start. This is the source range start, and this is the range length, which is just this. All right. Nick is here. Happy to catch you live. How's it going? It's going well so far. This problem has a complicated description. And that's what I did first. First, split double new line for sections, then for my seeds, skip first content, then the others, split on the line and skip the first. Okay, you already solved the problem, and we are in the right track. Good to know. Don't spoil it, though. No spoilers. I don't want to know what part 2 is about. Not yet. Anyway. So now let's print these guys just to see if we...
I guess we should map them to integers at some point, but yeah.
Ah, yeah, good point. I'll borrow this map. But for my own sanity, I will rename the seed into a map line number string. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, so we have numbers. Nice. First huddle taken. Lots of people messed up the map order. Yeah, they put the destination first for funsies. But I'm not gonna be fooled by that.
Gotcha.
So we are mapping always 1 to 1, right? 79 is gonna seed 79 is gonna become soil certain number, and then seed 14 is gonna become soil a certain number, so on. The mapping is 1 to 1. The mapping is kind of crazy in the way that it was specified, but it's 1 to 1. It's not 1 to many, which means that I can keep my stuff around. So what I'm calling here the seeds, I'm gonna call this the stuff, and I will be mapping it. So I'll have like an array of seeds that I need to carry through, and I will be modifying them in place. So I call them seeds, but at this point I'm not even sure what to call them. Is there a better name than stuff?
Why do you need a better name?
Because these are not going to be the seeds anymore. I'm going to start them as seeds, but then I'm going to be mapping them. They're going to be soil, fertilizer, water, all the way through. I'll call this stuff. And
Okay.
Oh,
I see. You're not even going to store an array of maps. You're just going to do it in line in
Yep.
Classic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. I said that I didn't want to like have to come up with smart data structures for these things, so I'm doing this to parse, and I already have the values I need, so I'm just gonna use them. And
Okay.
you know what? I think I will do it this way. I will be using sets just because they exist and they exist and they are easy to use in JavaScript. And okay, maybe not. Do I want to use sets? Yes, I will use sets because they will be more convenient for what I'm looking for. So, and I will let instead of set const. You'll see why. Here in each of the sections, I am going to the next stuff is going to be a new set. Okay, so here at this point, I have one of these lines. Boop, one of those. So I'm going to check if this line applies to each of the stuff that I'm considering. So I'm going to go through my stuff. Oh, please someone come up with a better name for this. I'm dying.
Maybe plants?
But it's not even plants. It's going to be seeds and then soil, fertilizer, water. It's so many things.
Configs? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Config's terrible as well because singular of config is config.
Yeah. It also lists the type of soil, but it doesn't come up with a term of art for me to use here. I'll continue calling it stuff and cringing.
What about result for now?
If my stuff item is going to be affected by this mapping. So if my stuff item is greater than or equal than the source range start, and my stuff item is less than my source range start plus my source my range length, then it's going to be affected. So I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to get rid of that stuff item. So I'm going to go into my stuff, and I'm going to remove my stuff item. And you may be wondering, why am I doing this in this roundabout way? I think it's a smart thing to do, and I think the reason that it's a smart thing to do will become clear in a sec. I will also be adding into my new stuff. But what I'll be adding is my stuff item. No, I have to think about this. It will be my destination range start plus my
offset, I guess.
Yes, so it's going to be my stuff item minus my source range start.
Yeah.
Like so. By the end of this loop, everything that was affected will have been removed, and we will move on to the next line. And by the end of the lines, I will check everything that was left in my set. For all the stuff that was still there, I will add the stuff itself. Aha! Now it may become clear why it was smart to use sets and remove and add and do all this juggling, because now I'm dealing with the cases that were not affected by the explicit maps. In those cases, they need to just map to themselves. That's me mapping them to themselves. And then finally, of course, I'll say that my stuff is equal to my next stuff for the next time we go around to the next mapping.
Mm-hmm. I guess you could spread it in, but yeah. This is nice and clean.
Ah.
A stuff
yeah,
item.
I could have said that because add will have multiple values. No, add is just one value. No, I could not have done that.
No, I mean, you could have done it on you could have basically taken the union of next stuff and stuff on line 64. So you spread them both into a new set. But anyway, this is nice. But
Can
I think
you
have
say
a
that
typo.
again? I want to understand that.
I'll try and type it, but there's a lot of lag.
Ah.
But it's not you're not going to be blown away, Leandro. It's like a tiny syntax thing, but it maybe is slightly more expressive. So would be stuff equals next. Oh, I've gone out here.
What? I see your cursor in the wrong file even.
Yeah, I don't know why that. I don't know how I got to that file. Okay, I'm not gonna type. It's ruining stuff. But basically, stuff in the next round will be the union
Thank you,
of
Nick.
next stuff.
There was a wrong thing there. But okay. I want to learn that syntactical thing that you want to teach me, but I'm having a really hard time just grasping it. Can you maybe type it or just tell me what to type?
Yeah. So stuff equals new set and then empty array inside new set.
Next stuff.
And then you spread the next stuff and you spread the stuff.
Because then you're taking the union of the sets.
Yeah. I guess it's like an extra set. It's just a syntactic thing. Like it's no big deal.
Yep. I love it. Much smarter than me. And prevents the the mistake that I made that Nick corrected. So, okay. All of this looks okay. But I do want to double check that there are no mistakes, obvious mistakes on the code before I start running this for you. So we have checked this much, and I believe this is okay. Then the map section. I'm starting a new set, and it is cool. I don't think it's ever the case that two things are going to map to the same, but even if they do, we are deduplicating them with the sets. So yeah, I like that. Then this part we already believe in.
I guess that's okay because they're IDs.
Yeah, I think the deduplication is actually a nice thing, but we'll see. Maybe part 2 will come back to bite us and we'll have to revisit the data structure. All right.
Yeah, I mean, for part 1 it is, yeah.
I can remove this, and it may be silly for me to remove that. It's just a syntactical thing, but it does clarify to me that there is only one thing in here. It's, I guess, a matter of style. Probably a bad one, but anyway. So I'm checking this, and this I do want to really read carefully. Stuff item is going to be, for instance, 79 to begin with, and it needs to be greater than the source range start, and it needs to be smaller than, strictly smaller than the source range start plus the range length. Let's see. In this case, it would be smaller than 100. Okay, that is correct. Then remove that and add the destination range start, which would be 50, plus stuff item minus the source range start. Okay. Yeah, I like everything I see, but since this is such a complicated problem and we don't have... Oh, we do. We have everything along the way. So here's what I'm going to do. By the end of each... by the end of each one of these, I'm going to print my stuff, because then we will be able to see... we were able to read with the example here. But naturally, I will also console log the math min of my stuff, because that's going to be our final answer. But I will also print at the end of each of these iterations my stuff. How does a set print?
I know JSON stringifies very badly.
Yes, that's why I'm concerned, but it prints okay.
Okay.
So with that, remove is not a function. How do I remove things
Delete.
from such?
Delete.
Thank you. So it starts with 79, 14, 55, and 13. 79, 14, 55, and 13. Then 64, it's already wrong. Or is it? It's already wrong. 40, that's wrong. 14 is right. And 13 is right. 14 and 13 were the ones that were kept. So the problem is in the ones that are mapped. So at least this much is working.
Can you read through the logic of how it maps? Are you sure that we just add the offset to the range start? Like in terms of the problem itself?
Yeah, no, I'm first checking this, but I think I believe this, because this is what is making us get 13 and 14 right. So this, I kind of believe in that. Otherwise, we would be growing the sets. So at this point, I really think that our problem is exactly on this line. I agree with you. And it's going to go destination range start, and our numbers are relatively large, so I'm okay with this. I think that we are using this one correctly. And then this is probably the problem. Destination range start. How about that? Not quite.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, I'm adding it twice. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. Okay.
Well, but in the, I don't know how confident you are about the problem statement. Could we follow one example? Just to see how they calculate the next iteration.
So let's see this one. Seed number 79 corresponds to cell number 81. 79, that's our first guy. And it will be affected by this. So when we get to this line, we have...
I wonder if all we need to do is actually calculate the offset between the range starts, by the way. Or maybe we're adding it instead of taking it away. Or something like that. That's a useless comment.
Yeah, I put this comment here to help us out. So we are dealing with number 79, which will be in this range because 50 plus 48 is 98, so 79 is in the range. So we have gotten here. Now, let's give names to our fellows, because It will make things easier to reason about. And this is the stuff item.
I know it's really dumb, but I keep thinking about operator precedence. And I know it won't, like, it is correct, but like, it would make me have to think less if we separated out the order of operations.
Do you mean this?
Yeah.
In this particular case, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't, but we have to inspect it to verify it.
Yeah, and Nick wants to write the answer. Don't! Hey, Bo, what's up? So we want to get to 81, and we are at 79. The range length is no longer applicable. The range length was just for us to know that we needed to get in here. So let's get the fluff out. And
I wonder if we just take the diff between the destination range start and the source range start, and then add that directly rather than stuff item minus source range start.
I see what you mean. So what you're saying is, how about
Offset.
that? And we get to some negative numbers if we do that. So maybe I misunderstood what you were saying? No. This is the stuff item. My mistake. Now we get numbers, but they're not the right ones. We were supposed to be getting 81, and we are not. Still not there. Still not there. Our stuff item is 79, and we are adding this minus that.
Yeah.
Wait a second. 81 is 79 plus 52 minus 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense if that's not.
I'm running the program again because it seems to be a problem in the universe. So I'm going to run it several times to see if the results change.
Why don't you print out the sum that we're doing and the numbers as we're about to do them? I mean,
Did we parse something completely wrong? Okay, I am going to slice
wait.
the sections like so. In this way, we are just doing one of the mappings, like that.
That's
And
useful.
the way that I'm doing, the reason why I'm doing this is because, well, 79, 14, 55, 13. Wait a second. How come we are printing this? We already have done a full pass and I print this stuff and it hasn't changed? Is there any other console log that I'm forgetting? No, there isn't. So after the first pass, we are still seeing a 79, 14, 55, 13. We haven't affected any of the numbers. That's odd. I want to check. I want to question the universe now and start from like the very first line and reassess everything because there is something completely like off-putting for me here. So I'm gonna start from the top.
Okay. Yeah,
that's my input. That's all right.
Yeah.
Then I am going to question whether I can see my map sections, if I can see the map sections in the way that I expect them to be. And I do. That's this part. Then I am going to check that that I parsed these numbers right. No. And yes, 50, 98, 2, 52, 50, 48. And they are correctly called destination range, source range, and range length. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into my stuff item, and I'm gonna print each one of them, because now I'm questioning whether the iterator over the set is doing the right thing.
I think you'll need to put the parens back, by the way, now.
What parens?
You're missing some... Oh, yeah, there they are.
Okay. So now my stuff item, I'll remove every other console log in the here, and my stuff is 79, 14, 55, 13, and 79, 14, 55. Yeah, that's because we are iterating on the thing twice, because there are 2 lines. Fair enough. So then I will get in here twice. The source range start was a correct variable, like so, and the range length was also correct. Ooh. How about that, people?
Ugh.
Now that's embarrassing.
You got there.
$81, 57, 14, 13. Embarrassing. Embarrassing.
No, it's a silly mistake. Happens to us all.
So remove
I
this
also didn't spot it.
35 is our answer. Let's get that puzzle input in place. And Nick must be like, oh, finally. Woohoo!
Hey, well done. Nice one. We got it. I think that wasn't... I think we were just caught out by the bug there. I think it didn't necessarily take us much longer than other days.
Thanks for all the reactions, everyone, on the chat. And what have we learned? We have learned that it's sometimes hard to reason about greater than and less than.
That's for sure.
Maybe if we write it this way, it helps. Because then the arrows are always pointing in the same direction. And I guess before they were pointing in the same direction, but I was just thinking of them wrong. Because I like the way that this reads, because then it reads like a number line. This, less than that. So if you were to plot these numbers in a number line, this would be on the left of that. And this should be on the left of that. So I think that this reads nicely and it doesn't break. All right. Well, I will say that this was, of course, silly, but this was very, very, I like this one. I like this trick of using the two sets like that. And I like the way that you wrote this. Nick is going to tell us a story of stupid mistakes. Go ahead. And I will tell you a story of part 2. Everyone will starve if you only plant such a small number of seeds. Rereading the almanac, it looks like the seeds line actually describes ranges of seed numbers. Ooh, our strategy is gonna be brilliant. We are just gonna put more stuff in the sets and everything is gonna fall out. We are gonna do this in 5 minutes, you see. The values on the initial seeds line come in pairs. Within each pair, the first value is the start of the range and the second value is the length of the range. So in the first line, the example above, blah, this line describes two ranges of seed numbers to be planted in the garden. The first range describes with number 79 containing 14 values, blah, blah, blah. The second range, I'm excited. Now, rather than considering the 4 seeds, you need to consider a total of 27 numbers. That's all right. In the above example, the lowest location number can be obtained from seed 82, blah, 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 blah. Consider all the initial seed numbers listed in the ranges in the first line of the almanac. So there may be more than just 4 numbers here. That's all right. What is the lowest location number that corresponds to any initial numbers? Okay, we got this.
Hold on. I actually don't think I didn't fully understand part 2. What was the initial description there? If you only plant such a small, it looks like the seeds line actually describes a range of seed numbers. Huh.
So,
okay.
If I do that, then it doesn't wrap right. Oh, I'm working with a small screen here. But what I'm understanding from this is that the stuff in the beginning shouldn't simply be this. It should be considering the ranges. Everything else about the program is right.
Okay. Oh, everything else. Okay. And so how are the ranges described? Is it 79 to 14 and 55 to 13? No, it's 79. It starts at 79 and the length is 14. The range is 14 numbers. So it is 79, 80, 81, blah, 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 blah. And there are 14 numbers in the list that I just said. Got it.
My blah, blah, blah is 14 elements long.
Okay.
So, my seeds section, I will split and I will trim and I will split on the spaces and I will map with my numbers, but I will not stop there. I will also take the numbers 2 by 2. What is a straightforward way of doing that? Perhaps.
Lodash?
That's a good one. I'm thinking something simpler.
Yeah.
How about I don't split, but I match on a regular expression real quick.
Yeah.
I'll call this my range start. And I will call this my range length. And I'll make this global so that it will find all the matches in one pass. And since we are here, I'll use V as a flag as well. Geez, the syntax highlighter does not like this flag, but trust me,
What's V?
It's a good one. I'm just putting this here because if you don't know about the V flag, you owe yourself to go to MDN and learn about the V flag. It's an extension of the U flag. Have you heard of the U flag?
No.
You really need to learn about the U flag. It's amazing.
Okay.
It has to do with Unicode. Best way to exemplify that is with a pile of poop.
Ah.
And if I match on a dot globally, I get 2 matches because poop is actually 2 Unicode code points. But if I put the V, then it matches the poop.
Nice.
Because
and
of
U?
Oh, U will also match on the whole poop, but V will do some other things when it comes to ranges. Ranges being like this, specifically the negative ranges. Like, I really highly recommend it. If you want to read something before going to bed this night, read the MDN page about this flags. No, they're really cool stuff. You were going to say something?
No, makes sense.
And I misspoke before. I want to redeem myself. I said that it was multiple Unicode code points, and that's not true. It's a single Unicode code point. A pile of poop is a single Unicode code point, which is represented by 2 bytes in not 2 bytes. By two... Jeez Louise.
Characters.
By 2 of this stuff in the UTF-16 encoding because it is part of a surrogate pair.
Yes.
I said it. Surrogate pairs. And
You got it in.
Oh,
'Cause it's one of the-
don't get me started on extended grapheme clusters. Just Unicode. Yeah, so it's represented by, it's not even 2 bytes, is it? No, it's 2 of these
I guess
She
it
blinks.
is a character, 2 characters. No? In UTF-16.
It's
Because JavaScript's UTF-16. Not
yeah,
UTF-8.
it uses UTF-16, and it depends on what you call a character. But I would just say, yeah, it's 2 of these Shiblinxes, which make a surrogate pair. Enough of
Yes.
that. I'll leave the V
Okay.
there, even though it's completely unnecessary. This is all ASCII.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'll leave it there for people to be like, oh, what is this flag? Let me learn about it. Where was I? I was doing the matches and I want to map. Do I really want to map? I guess I'll flat map. And I will then take my seed. Well, now it's no longer a seed. Now it's a match corresponding to this match. And then I will create here an array that will I will write something ridiculous here. Wait, what? This is what you have to do if you want to avoid Lodash. What I want is to create an array that reads like, for my smaller input here.
It does all of the...
Sure. Book. No. There. What I want is for my line that hopefully the match will be this. Wow. Hopefully the match will be this. Wow. The syntax highlighter just got completely thrown off. And even stuff like comments.
Maybe add V back at the end.
Maybe don't add V, add U. Maybe tell the Visual Studio Code people about V, they should know it. Anyway, 79 is going to be my range start, and 14 is going to be my range length, hopefully. So here I spell them out by.
I'm not
doing this.
sure. I'm not sure that spreading an array works like that. I normally use array.from because I thought there were issues with new array. But if you've done it before, then you're probably right. It works.
No, I'm not. I'm not right. I'm just throwing things here. I'm just throwing things here on the wall and seeing what sticks.
I just mean from a syntax point of view, but I see what you're trying to do.
Okay, I'm making it more complicated, but yeah, so what I expect is that 79 will be the range start and 14 will be the range length. Let's dissect what I wrote to see if it makes any sense. If I had a range length of 79, maybe I'll write these lines here so I can reuse them if necessary.
It's very elegant. I've realized how this plan is coming together.
Elegant? No, it's very hacky.
Well, it's
this
elegant
looks like
'cause you're
Perl.
not gonna well, you're not going to need to modify any of the other code that we wrote, just this bit.
Yeah, that's why I was so excited when I read the problem.
Yeah.
So let's see. We have a new array of range length. This is an array of 14 empty items. Did you know that an array can have empty items? You can declare the size of an array but not allocate the items. Cool stuff. But then you can ask for the keys of that array, which is going to return an enumeration or an iterator. Then it is, oh, this exists?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go through with this because I started it. I put myself in this corner. So the keys are gonna be an iterator, which when I iterate over, it's going to give me a list of 0 up to 13. Like so. Then I'm going to map each of these numbers that I got to number plus the range start, which all in all is going to give me 79 up to 92, which is 14 numbers. So 79 up to 42.
Very nice. Yeah.
But you had a better way of writing this. Can you show me that again?
Do you want to see it? There you go.
Wow, I really need to learn about array from. An iterable. But that's not this version. That's an iterable, a map function. Or an array like? Wait a second.
Yeah.
This is not right. This is not an iterable on an array like. Well, I guess it is iterable if you put object keys, but I don't want to get there. I'm saying, does this work?
Yeah.
Wow. So if you wanted it to be from 79 and 14 elements. Wow. This is magic. I love it.
Yeah, it's slightly more readable than your option, but it's still not that super readable because even reading the constructors there, I was like, wait, where's the constructor for this? Is it because I'm actually like, it's structurally assigned to an array and it's like constructing an array and then just like doing dot length is this thing and then that somehow works? I'm not sure.
Yeah. How come this is not what the types said?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe there's a different yeah.
Did you get this from Copilot or?
No, I
Did you
mean, I've
already
just
know
known it. I've known it for a long time. I think I saw it somewhere, and I came across the problem you had and had to like do this similar thing.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there you go.
JavaScript is cool. This is not so cool. This is just map. And there are different guys, right? You could just say .map here. That's not so cool. But this is amazing. And it's not even documented properly. It's kind of hidden in the examples.
Yeah, it's a little bit hidden.
Okay. Single argument representing the length of the new array. It's documented here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thanks for teaching me this. I love it. So with that,
Nice.
we are ready to answer.
Oh.
Cannot read properties of undefined. A match doesn't like
Didn't find
having
a match.
a match doesn't like to be structured this way, apparently.
Are you sure that's the issue? Because the error didn't look like.
If
Okay.
if I'm sure that that's the issue.
It says
No, I'm
cannot
not.
read properties of undefined. So probably groups was undefined.
But I wasn't using
And
groups. I was using groups. Yeah, you are right. You're right. Let's see what this gives us. This gives us the right thing. So we're flat mapping over the match. No, that's not right.
is it match all? I don't know.
Why is this not giving me the groups that I asked for? Because it shouldn't be match, it should be...
Is it exec or test or something like something? It's not.
It's
yeah.
match all. And then the destructuring assignment could actually have worked. What happens if I turn this into a list real quick? Yes. The destructuring assignment actually worked. So I'll come back to this, do that.
Nice.
And flat map is not a function. Okay, because I need to turn this iterator into a proper list.
Okay. Yeah.
155.
Yeah. The VS Code is a little bit cut off at the bottom of the screen for me on Skype. I don't know if it is on.
Yeah. Now you see what people see on the stream, so you are right about that. Okay. We did not get the right answer right away. All my excitement. Oh.
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 I will print out the stuff as we go.
Yeah, I think we should print out the first stuff to begin with.
Yeah, it's a good starting point.
Wait, what? 079? It's a set? I'm missing a string. I'm missing some number here.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
I love how we are using JavaScript and not TypeScript, so we ran into this, but I love even more that we got some result at all. 46 and 46. That's right, people. We got it. I am confident we got it.
We have yet to have a scenario where we get the right answer for the test and the wrong answer for the real.
On the first day, we may have gotten it wrong if it wasn't for the fact that you have already done it and you already knew that the bigger example would have other stuff going on. All right, so this is not cool. This problem is too large.
No. We said we got it. We got
the logic right, but we implemented it in the naive way, brute force way. Remember how I said that we were gonna be silly and we were gonna like...
Yeah, but we reached a scenario where it worked for the test, but it didn't work for the real input. So
yeah, I bet that if I did this to the real input, maybe not even that. I bet that if I did this to the real input, we would get an answer.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
But we are really asking JavaScript to create some big sets here. This is the size of the set. We are going to have to be clever.
We could be clever.
I think that the way to be clever is to work with not the ranges and panning them out. I think essentially we shouldn't be like expanding the sets like that. We need to be keep the ranges as a first-class citizen and work with ranges instead of working with numbers.
Yeah.
All sorts of edge cases will pop up because we will need to, in many cases, like split ranges in two. Maybe merge ranges back together, but that's less important. But we will need to split ranges in two when things come up. So
I'm also wondering if we can...
I say that we deserve this start. We got the implementation right.
I think so too. But I'm wondering if we can also simplify... We could probably have some efficiency gains by skipping out all the maps and reducing it to one map. But that's not going to help us with our size issue here.
How big is this number? Because we ran out of memory, right? Out of memory. I could tell JavaScript, yeah, you have all the memory in the world.
Yeah.
How do I increase Node.js? Node.js set heap size. How to increase the default memory?
Yes, this is the right way to do it.
Max old space size. Max old space size? That does not look right. Max old space size. Max old. You can rewrite and brute force it in about 10 to 30 minutes, you're saying. So wait a second, Nick, did you implement this by brute forcing and it finished in 30 minutes? Is that what you're telling me? Everyone keeps saying this max old space size. It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird, but I guess it's like legacy flag, which has been deprecated. That's why it has it all.
No, that's not it. The old space is garbage collection lingo. New space, old space. They're using mark and sweep probably in the garbage collector. That's why the parameter is called this. Okay. I am more convinced now that this is the right thing to do. So while we, and I will give this a big ass number. Oh no, this is the one that doesn't terminate. Okay. Nick is saying, but so you really want to do that? It already crashed. No, I did it the proper way and it runs instantly. The proper way, you say. Mumble.
Okay.
Heap
so
out of
that's
memory.
about
Okay, I
the
really
way.
did exhaust all the memory on this machine, I think.
It's handled pretty gracefully. Okay.
Okay.
So if we keep the ranges intact, then we just need to calculate. Wait, what about just keeping the minimum of the range, the minimum and the maximum of the range?
Yeah, that's what we need to do. It
But
can
do we
be
need to?
It can either be minimum maximum or minimum length.
I mean, just two numbers. Like keep the same strategy, but just have the first number in the range and the last number in the range.
The problem with that is that the range could be overlapping with one of the maps ranges. So in that case, we will need to like split.
Splice it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have here a big range that is my seeds and a smaller range which is my map. And this map will take these seeds into somewhere else, and then I will split this range into three: before, mapped, and after. And if the maps are overlapping like so, I will also take care of that case. And if the maps are overlapping like so, I also need to take care of this case. Or if the map is like this, I will take care of this case and that case and that case. But if you laugh at me, check the link I dropped for a sec. I'll drop this here so you see after you've done part 2. My misery got me over 100 upvotes. Okay, no. Probably that includes some spoilers. I'm not going there.
We can go there after. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going there now. Is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to keep this. I'll call it 5.1. I want to copy it. I will call this 5.2. And now let's bite the bullet and work with ranges.
Deep breath.
Now my stuff is not just a list of numbers. My stuff is a set of ranges. Could as well be a list of ranges. I'll go with a set of ranges. A range will be an object with a start and a length. No spoilers, Nick says, but it was really stupid, but after is fine. Okay, if you say there are no spoilers. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube?
Go to site.
Go to site. Okay. Today's 90 minutes of Anita debugging brought to you by the question prompt, me. Ah. Okay. You parsed the seeds. You parsed the seeds in a way that would make sense in the first advent of code problem for this year. Because in that case, the numbers could overlap. And
Scroll
that's what
down
you
a
did.
bit, Leandro. I can't see it.
Oh, yeah. I feel for you. Since everything is start and length, I think we should have our ranges as start and length as well. So now let's see. I'm going to comment all of this out, and I'm going to try and log our stuff. And instead of our beautiful line, what we'll have is essentially this.
Yeah.
Oh, not flat map this time, map.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And then we have our range start. Oh, remember to put number. Like.
Oh, yeah.
So. Much nicer. Okay.
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 Well, that was easy.
And not even this line is going to be right. So now I'm mapping the sections. I am getting my new set of stuff. Does this approach even apply?
Yeah, it can still work because we always delete and add at the same time. It's going to be just fine.
Yeah, so as we are mapping things, we will be shuffling the ranges in much the same way. So when I said, for instance, that here is my range of inputs, seeds, and here is my map of seeds to soil, I think, then these numbers are going to come out of stuff. I'm going to remove this range, and I'm going to add this range and that range. I don't like that. because these numbers could still be processed by other lines.
You need to merge, right? Just merge ranges, you mean?
More thinking about splitting ranges. But all right, okay. We are doing the parsing, and our stuff item, we should call this, the stuff is now ranges. So I guess I will rename, I finally find a name for stuff.
Yeah. That's not, well, actually that will work. Next stuff will work. I have the best extension in the world, which preserves case when you rename stuff. But I guess yours doesn't.
Yeah. I will need to find my stuff capitalized and rename that. You know, I find it utterly silly. Camel case is utterly silly. Snake case is much superior. And I will die on that hill.
But you will also proceed to convention and camel case variables.
Yeah. So this is not range, it's actually ranges.
Yes.
And this is next ranges.
And range item can just be range.
Well, at least that much. Once we start using the proper technique, we get some better names. All right. I am here, and this check will change. It will change so much that I'm not even considering it now. Because at this point, we will have to check if our range is affected by this. Our range is affected by this if there is any kind of overlap. So this is my range, my seeds. This is my destination, or source, range start, and range length. So if the...
So the way I've come across this many times in event scheduling software, and the way that it kind of works is basically overlapping. It's if you think about two people to work out if they were alive at the same time, if I don't know, Henry VIII, for example, and Bob Marley, if Henry VIII died after Bob Marley was born, and Bob Marley died after Henry VIII was born, then there is an overlap. You see what I mean?
I see what you mean. I think for me, I see what you mean. Do you wanna continue?
Well, I think I would probably just put it in my intuition is to just put this in a function, like, do they overlap, and then like slice at the overlap.
Fair enough. The way that I reason about this is that if they overlap, there is this case, and this case. But to check that they don't overlap, there is only this case and this case, which is easier to test. So I am going to check that they don't overlap. Or maybe better yet, how about I don't check overlaps at all? I just consider this case. Let's just consider this case in which the mapping is embedded in what I'm going to do. What happens here is that we know that we need to create three things. We need to create this, and that. How do you love my hand diagrams here? So let's just consider this case, create these three things, and then as we are creating these three things, we check if my range is ever negative. Because if my range is ever negative, I just skip, I don't create that. Or if my range is zero, so 0 or negative. So I think that if we follow this strategy, there will be fewer edge cases in our code.
And we will get the slices out of it already that we need.
Yeah. One can hope, people. Let's go. So what is this? This is the range start up to the map, the source range start. So I will go here and I will call this first bit. I will call it banana.
Well, is it left, middle, and right?
Okay, left. This is my left. It starts at my range start. Isn't that silly to call it range start and range length? Shouldn't we just call it start and length?
Definitely.
My start is going to be my range start, and my length is going to be the difference between my source range start and my range start. Any off by one mistakes here? Don't think so. I don't think so. My middle. You don't feel too convinced.
I'm just wondering what if it's the inverse? Like, what if it contains the other one? Like, this is if the range contains the source. But what if the source contains the range?
I think that case...
Maybe covered by the middle one. I guess
Yeah, I think it's covered. Because...
I don't want to interrupt you too much, because I think you're getting there. Let's see how we get on with left, middle, and right, and then we can review.
I'm going to write something a bit silly. Perhaps silly. But it makes sense in my head.
Do you need to put any?
Wow, I think I need some smaller case to test this with. I'm going to have range that goes from like 4 and length of 10. I'll make this 5. No, I will change this. So my range will be here. It will have also in here embedded this is going to be my mapping. Then my range start is 1 and my range length is 7 or h. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, h. So my length is h. I'm making the bars inclusive here.
Okay.
Maybe I should not. And then it's actually 7, right? Yeah, I will not make the bars inclusive because I think that will make things easier in terms of off by 1 mistakes. So starts at 1, length of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. Then my no. There. That will be 3. And the length would be 1, 2, 3. Again, I am making this split. So it's non-inclusive. This last bar is non-inclusive, so it's 1, 2, 3. Now I take this and I check. My left starts at 1 and has a length of 2. Great. My middle has a start of 3 and has a length of 3. Great. My right has a start of 6 and has a length of 2. Great. I did it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Do you want to verify the inverse where the map is greater than the range?
here is one thing. I don't think that will be necessary. I don't think that will be necessary because we are not just going to simply use these guys. We are going to check if the lengths are negative. Okay, I guess I will try to convince you that it won't be necessary so that I can be more certain of it. And here is the deal then. If we change this,
Yeah, you can just call it R.
No, that's not right. That's how it was. Now it's the opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have the range starting at 3, and it has a length of 1, 2, 3, while this starts at 1, and it has a length of 7. Then left has a negative length, it will be discarded. Middle, that's all right. And right has a negative length, it will be discarded. But wait, the middle is a bit odd. The middle is going from here to there. The middle should be going here to there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There will be some max and mins happening now. The problem seems to be the middle only. So the start of this middle is the max between the source range start and the range.start, while the length will be the oh shucks, this is the length on this one is a doozy.
You have to calculate the end, I guess.
I have to calculate the end. I don't love representing this with start and length. Representing this with start and end would have been better. Should I revisit this and change everything? Because it's not so hard. An and is never inclusive. See, it was not that hard.
That would break what you just did.
How?
You need to put the number. You just need to put the number inside. You put the number out, like you're going to concatenate strings.
Thank you.
It's all right.
So now I need to rewrite these lines. But in light of what I did, I think that rewriting these lines will not be terrible. And I will have to my disposal the range length. Or not really, the source range start. End.
You were calculating the end anyway, I think, for the right.
Yep.
So that will be simpler.
Yeah, there is some stuff happening here. But I need to get back to the drawing board.
Yes.
In terms of the computations here, so. Which is all right by me. So I'll start with the case that is easier for me to consider. I conceptualize this more easily. What is my left? It is 1 up to 3. So it is range start up to source range start. Easy. My middle is this up to that. And my right is Funny. And my right is my I already like this. This is much better.
Yeah, and now we
It's
just
much more
need to do
intuitive.
some min maxes, and we're good.
Yes, indeed. Let's do the example. The range starts at 1 and ends at 9. Before we had it at 8, right? I don't remember. Anyway, 1 up to 9 non-inclusive. The source range start is 3, and the source range end is 7 or 6. So it's actually 6. And range length is not even used anymore. It's used to compute this. Okay. Wait, range start is not defined. It's source range start.
Is that right? No, it should just be range.start.
You are right. That is correct now. My left goes from 1 to 3 non-inclusive. My middle goes from 3 up to 6 non-inclusive. My right goes to 6 up to 9 non-inclusive. Perfect.
Okay.
Difficult case now.
I guess you can, yeah, just tweak those values. Exactly.
Well, before I even run this, I know that this will not work. So let's think it through. My left should be the same. My middle should be my range. So what I want is the max between this and that. And this should be the math mean between that and this. Let's see how this pans out. My left is, it starts at 3 and ends at 1, so it's backwards. I discard it. My middle, it starts at 3 and ends at 6, so I keep it. My right goes from 9 down to 6, so I discard it because it's going backwards. Okay. Did we break the other case? I'm fairly sure that we did not break the other case. Imagine doing this in C++.
I know.
Yep.
Okay.
So, okay. Any other edge case to consider? Don't think so.
Might be worth just sanity checking if they are exactly overlapping. If they're 1919, for example.
In that case, my left, it starts and ends at 1. 1 is non-inclusive, so it has
So it's
a length of 0,
less.
which I don't allow.
Mm-hmm.
My middle goes from 1 to 9. My right goes from 9 to 9. I don't allow that either.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. Of course, now I am relying on the start and end, so I will need to compute that. I can compute that up here by defining my source range end as my start plus my length.
Mm-hmm. Wait, destination range start? No, source range start. Plus range length.
Yes. Yes, like so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, naturally, we have spliced the things, but we haven't performed the mapping.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll deal with that in a second. I will do the easy things first. If my left, or better yet, I will, in this case, always delete stuff from my ranges, because I will add them back up again. So my left, I will check if it's valid. If my left start is less than or equal to, no, if it's less than my left end, no, that doesn't seem right, my left. And similarly with my right. Okay, that is the easy case.
Sorry, I'm not following that. What are you doing there?
I'm considering the case in which like the things are valid, like so. And this is what defines a valid range.
Yeah.
And I am deleting the range from the ranges that we are considering, and I'm adding these ones.
Yeah, and the middle one, and then we can do the manipulation. Or, oh no, we still have to. Don't we add them to next ranges? And don't we need to manipulate them first?
No.
Okay.
We don't add them to next ranges because these ranges that have been unaffected may be affected by a next line. We don't add them to next ranges. We will add the middle to the next ranges.
Yes. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I see where you're going.
The middle hang on, I want to see something, and I left some stuff behind me. I want to see what happens when the map is just all the way up. What happens in that case?
Well,
my range start is here, so my left is here. My source range start is there. So nope, that doesn't seem right. I need this to be the minimum between this and that. Similarly, if my map is all the way to the left, like so, this right will be the source range end, which is this, up to that. But that's not right. So I need this to be the max between this and that. Wait, no, this should have been start. I got I understand the problem and I got the logic right, but I may have gotten the variables wrong because at this point it's hard to keep track of all the names. Let me double check my work. If I have this case, then the right range will be wrong because it will start, it would have been wrong, but is it right now? It's the maximum between this, which is that, and the range start. And this should have been the end, probably. Maybe not even that. I don't know. But I know that this line reads right to me now. And it has a nice symmetry, this and that, which is pleasing to me. I goofed up. Yeah, this symmetry is pleasing to me. But anyway, so this line looks right to me. It needs to be the maximum between this, which is that, and this, which is that. Now, for the other case, my left should start there, and it should end in the minimum between the range end and the source range start, which is this. Okay, now I convinced myself. Any further verifications?
No, I'm a little bit lost at this stage with all the mins and maxes. I'm going to trust you on that.
Yeah, I am equally lost. I am equally lost. But we worked everything case by case. It should be right.
Yeah.
It should be right.
Yeah.
It should be right. So now we have to, this line is going to be wrong as well. I'm going to comment it out. We need to map. So we have our middle and we need to map it. But I will only map it if the middle is even a sensible range. Because in this case, for instance, the middle is not a sensible range. So I'll check it the same way that I checked the other two. But I will add to my new ranges. And I need to come up with a new range to add here. That will be the middle mapped. It will have a start. It will have an end. Its start will be based on the destination range start. Its end will be based on the destination range start. No, not even that, not even that. Its start will be based on this, but also on the other thing that I goofed up before, which is middle dot start minus source range start. It's the same equation that I goofed up before, so I could just look it up, right? Yeah, this.
Did we goof that up, or was it that there was an issue with the if condition?
That was an issue with the if condition, right?
So maybe it wasn't an issue the first time you implemented it.
Yeah.
It was a false fix.
And the fact that I got this same thing here and, well, this is there, so that's not the same. I get a feeling that this should be here and this should be there just for symmetry. No. Maybe referring to this formula won't be helpful. The start of this mapping is the destination range start plus the offset. That seems right, actually. And the end should simply be the length of this. So it's that minus this. No, I'm talking about the end, not the length. God almighty. What is the end of this? It is the destination range start plus that length. Wow. It's even complaining about couldn't find new ranges. You mean next ranges? Thanks. Okay. What the heck?
I'm pretty confident about the end. The start, I'm not so confident on.
Since I calculated the source range end, I will want to have the destination range end. Which will make this computation a bit easier, I think. Not even. Okay, can you say what you said again?
Yeah, so I feel confident about the end because that's just saying, okay, this length is going to be, it's the original start is just, wait, hold on. No, I think, actually, isn't it, don't you need to do it to like, not destination range start, but the, so the middle here, we have the start and we have the end. And we just need to, they should both be incremented by the same offset, I imagine. Because they are the same intersection, right? So we just need to find the offset for that, for this particular mapping.
I see what you mean. So what you're proposing is that we end up doing something. That looks like this. It's the middle plus an offset. What is the offset? Well, let's compute the offset. The offset is the difference between the destination and the source.
Yeah.
I love the way you think.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Now, we are left with some ranges to compute for the next time. The next ranges have been computed appropriately. And the ranges are the things that map to themselves. So this line actually works.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And then to calculate the minimum of all the ranges, we can just look at the start and find the minimum start.
Yeah. It's going to be very eloquent. It's ranges, plural, but yeah. Perfect. All right, let's see if we've passed the initial test. I hope so.
Do you want to see it already? I kind of want to reread this real quick, just at a glance,
Sure.
because there may be like a start that should have been an end or something like that. So first of all, the ranges, we have already convinced ourselves that it works. Now, for all the parsing, we have convinced ourselves. But for this, it's the source range start plus the range length. Great. This is being used in those places. This should only be used to compute the end, and this should only be used to compute the offset. Great. Then for each of the ranges is not found. It's not happy about that. Oh, it is happy. It's just because it's a let. I thought it wasn't happy because the color was slightly different. But it's because it's a let. Okay. Semantic syntax highlighting. Very cool stuff. Then the ranges, we worked on this exhaustively. I want to skip that.
Yeah.
Then this, I believe. This, I believe, should this be a less than or equal? No, it should not, because the end is not inclusive. Then we add the left and we add the right to be reworked. And if the middle is correct, then we compute the offset, we apply the offset, and we put that in the next ranges because it has already been mapped. Finally, we merge the sets of ranges, we loop, and then we take the minimum between all the possible starts.
Well, the really tricky bit are those left, middle, and right, and convincing ourselves that we got it.
We
But
didn't get it because this is an infinite loop.
No, what? That doesn't make sense. Are we out of memory or something? What's going on?
No, it's an infinite loop.
Oh, because we keep adding to the ranges.
But we don't
then
keep
we
adding
keep-
to the ranges willy-nilly. We only do when it makes sense to do that.
Right, and we keep finding that they intersect, and then we keep, yeah. Huh.
Well, let's...
That makes sense. Could we just like add them to like just add them like outside just after we've gone through this array, and we'll be fine. Like just keep the left and the right. Like I'm just thinking, just avoid inspecting those lefts and rights that we just added.
These?
Like avoid adding them to the same ranges, and then you'll avoid the infinite loop.
No. You mean removing this if?
We still need the if, but I mean, just don't add them on that line, and instead add them outside of the for loop somehow. Like collect them like in next left ranges, next right ranges, and then just pop them in the next time, or something like that. Quite ugly.
Why would that? What is the issue you're seeing?
So, is it not that like we found that it, this range intersects this particular map, right? And therefore we're splitting it up, and then we see, okay, it does intersect, and then we add it to ranges, and we just keep staying in this loop because we keep saying like, yes, it intersects this map, so therefore we keep saying that it's going to intersect it on the next time that we check it as well, and we'll keep checking it.
I see what you mean. It's a subtle problem. The problem being that we are deleting and re-adding the same thing, so it's going to be picked up by this for loop as a new thing.
Yeah.
I see. So ranges to work. And ranges to work. And in the end of the loop, and only in the end of the loop, will we say that the ranges is equal to a new set with the, or not even, just ranges to work. And then we don't even need to delete. Well, it does something. We are not looping anymore, and not a number is a great result. It's probably just us forgetting to convert something. Like, for instance, here, when I'm doing this computation, I may be forgetting to, no, I'm not forgetting to convert anything. But not a number is good. Not a number is better than infinite loop, so good catch. This for loop was looping over the values that we were adding inside the loop itself.
I think that would mean like we skip all of the ranges which don't intersect, right? Or do we? No, we still keep them somehow.
Yeah, look at that. The problem is probably just here in the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, 46. That was the right
Is that
answer.
it?
Yay!
Oh.
Wow! Wow! Wow!
Wow.
Good job, David. This catch of the ranges to work thing is phenomenal.
Eesh. Yeah.
Excellent
Very
job. Excellent job.
Yeah, let's see it. We should be good for 4 months.
Doesn't get better than this.
Dun 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 dun.
Good job, everyone. You know, this reminds me of one of my first Reaper scripts that put me on the map in the Reaper community. And it was about editing a podcast. And you have a lot of silence when you're recording podcasts. You may have multiple microphones and you want to remove the silence, right? When no one is speaking, you want to remove that automatically. And in Reaper, there is a way for you to remove silence, but it considers each microphone individually. And then, of course, the timing goes out of sync because when I'm speaking and you are not, it would cut all your silence and just bring all the items together, right? So you would be speaking on top of me. The script that I wrote removes silence when no one is speaking. So to do that first, I use the Reaper function to trim the silence when each one of us is speaking, but we preserve the timing. So we just essentially clean up the timeline. And then to find the spaces in which no one's speaking, I had to start with the whole range and start slicing it up in pretty much the same way that we did. And I worked with ranges and I implemented that in Lua. So that's why I thought that perhaps using start and end instead of start and length would be beneficial. And I remember having done that. And I remember having done this. And I remember that if I have done this and I have these checks, that all the edge cases just work out, because I was trying to work out all the overlaps, different ways that things could overlap, and I was like, eventually landed on this approach, and I think it is like convoluted, not gonna lie, but I don't think it gets like much better than this.
No, I think this is nice. I think this does. I think the way you visualized it was very nice as well, and it's also like, it's very similar to the problem you just described because you're cutting things up. Like, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to actually extract the portion which overlaps, not just like whether they overlap or not, which is what I've had to do in the past. So yeah, it's very nicely done.
And here we are splitting the ranges. Oh, it's great. Yeah, really the trick that unlocks all this is using the right data representation, right? If we went with start and length, we would still be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I would kind of be inclined to create like an object or a class which has a getter, which would have the length as a computer.
Yeah, because we ended up having to compute the length in some situations.
Yeah. Or at least we, when we're doing certain things, we are. But yeah, it takes some studying to really get those left, middle, right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Fotis is saying, great job, everyone. Great job to you too, Fotis. Do you want to go to the subreddit?
Yeah, quickly, go on.
And I will want to see the rest of that link as well to see the comments on the misery that Nick went through.
Yeah, and maybe scroll up a little bit so we can see that. Remember that it needs to be on the top half of the screen, more or less.
Yeah. Oh, that is sad.
What did he do exactly wrong? He just like parsed it incorrectly.
I think that the parsing was considering that this was a range, and then this was another range, and this was another range. So I think that instead of going with our neat little regular expression deal here, he probably just sliced on the space, and then instead of incrementing by 2 as he should have, he was incrementing by 1. That's why this person is saying this. Had the same issue, windowed versus chunked. I did the exact same thing. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and this is Python. Do you recognize this?
Yeah, rings a bell. Batched and pairwise, yeah. itertools is like pretty famous. It's like you'll use it almost as much as default dict for these kinds of problems. It's very useful. It's like, yeah, I think itertools has You remember we saw permutations and combinations. It also has that.
Yep, I remember itertools. Oh, this is an older version of Python, maybe?
What do you mean?
Person is saying that they don't have itertools pairwise. Maybe this is a new function and it's not in that version of Python.
That makes sense.
Some people peeking at someone said, like, I'm on the train home from work, but when I get home I use this information to debug. So that's a bit of cheating, isn't it? I'm not here to judge. Oh yeah, people were using ranges with lengths. Maybe that's more elegant in some way, but it's not in my head. No.
I bet there's going to be a damn elegant solution. Let's have a look.
Oh, I'm looking forward for the Vim solution. Okay, 5 solutions. Let's see the meme. I was supposed to be there would be consequences for my actions. That brute force the algorithm. Well, I tried. But my memory was not large enough for all the numbers I needed to store. Wow. And I wanted to be here not until midnight. Okay. I somehow managed to lose track of time and started almost a minute late. Wow. I'm surprised to see a problem as tricky as part 2 already. I find interval math tough to visualize. Yeah. Tell me about it. It's a longer video today because I spent a while cleaning up and blah, blah, blah. Okay. I recommend using inclusive on the left, exclusive on the right to present intervals, like we did. This has some nice properties, like length is subtraction. Yeah. Oh, it has another nice property. It's obvious that the minimum is the left value and you won't do something dumb like min range, which bogs down in Python. I'm not really sure what the problem is here. And I'm surprised to see such a problem this early. In fact, most of this year has been harder earlier than I expected. So do you think that it's going to be harder earlier, but then be the same level of difficulty as we go, or do you think that it will be the hardest year ever?
I don't know.
I don't know. I am excited. Here is our guy, default dict. Then there is some parsing.
I think Advent of Code got a lot of popularity last year. So maybe a lot of people did it. And maybe they're like, well, if so many people can do it, we should up the stakes. Maybe that's what's happened.
It
but
really
who knows?
depends, right? If you want the competition to be solving harder problems, or if you want the competition to solve more straightforward problems faster. I prefer
Yeah.
I prefer harder problems personally, because I'm not in this for speed. Okay, so what is function? This is parsing. This is apply one. Oh, this is offsetting. This is applying the offset, I think. And then some ranges, some diagrams, before, inter, and after.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's the one.
And then some checks for validity. And depending on different lints.
Some max mins.
Yeah, I recognize this pattern of start, min, max, end.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen this before where we append before and after to one set, but we append the middle one to another set. Yeah, this is our solution here. And not bad for us.
Yeah, 100%. Wow.
Complete brute force search for part 2 only takes 100 milliseconds. This is using some GPU there.
Wow.
Oh, wait a second. JavaScript? Huh?
I don't see any JavaScript.
I don't write JavaScript like you write JavaScript, sir. Okay, JavaScript is driving and CUDA is doing the heavy lifting. So let's take a look at this first.
CUDA?
So CUDA is a way to write a code for the GPU. It's a framework, let's say a tool. It's a tool for writing code for the GPU. So JavaScript is taking care of parsing, which, if I do say so, it's done in a weird way with this index off stuff. But then
might be cool to write this with web GPU.
Might
be cool to write this, the new web GPU APIs.
Yes.
Instead of CUDA.
Yes.
But I guess this is for Node.
If you writing Node, and I know that, for instance, TensorFlow, the library for machine learning, if you want to run it on the GPU in the browser, you can use WebGL. It's relatively straightforward. If you want to use it in Node, you have to set up CUDA, and it's less straightforward. You have to install some drivers for your GPU, and if you want to run that in a virtual private server, you need to rent one with a GPU, which is more expensive and stuff like that. Now, it's doing all the parsing. And how does it interact with the C++ part?
I was thinking about this. Like, could we just parallelize it instead of giving it more memory or something? But I guess, we ran it. It actually wasn't the time limit; it was the memory limit.
It was the memory.
So using a GPU probably wouldn't run anyway.
Well, if you go to the GPU, you may represent your numbers more concisely, maybe.
If it's JavaScript, it's JavaScript. I don't know.
But I'm curious to see how it's It seems like it's printing out the final solution because of this part. So somehow locations is... This is not going to the GPU. Maybe part 2 is going to the GPU.
That makes sense.
There is a preprocessor.
There is an index2.js as well.
Input easy. There you go. It's using JavaScript for part 2 to generate input easy, which I am sure will be read in CUDA.
Okay.
And then CUDA is This is insane. Where is the import for CUDA? This is a C++ libraries that we pretty much have seen. Well, let's look at the main. We are storing them as 64-bit integers, so no space saved because numbers in JavaScript are 64-bit floating point numbers. Then, okay, where is this coming from? It's not defined in this code, so it's used but not defined.
Some build step thing, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe when you build for CU instead of CPP, you get some magic functions. But it is interesting to see that it's not allocating in the CPU, then transferring to the GPU and back. It's already allocating on the GPU, which may deal with memory in a different way, and then it wouldn't run out of memory.
Yeah, that's beyond my pay grade. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, normally the way that things work is you have, think of a game. You have like, let's say a map of the world, and you do collision detection on the hitboxes to see if your shot got on the other character, right? You do all this computation on the CPU. Then you want to render stuff. So you say, okay, GPU, take all this data, like my character model, the position of the character model, the position of the bullet, the position of the other character model, and do your fast stuff to compute the graphics. So compute your shaders, your stuff like that. But there is this bridge between CPU and GPU. CPU doing the more, let's say, business logic part of things, and GPU doing more of the rendering part of things. Of course, this line is drawing sand. As we see here, you can do business on the GPU. That's what the whole machine learning deal is all about. But you have different memories.
The way I understand it, high level, is that basically the GPU has many more cores than a CPU, and
not only that, but the GPU has, and this is not only true of the GPU. You can also do this on the CPU, but it is really optimized for doing lots of computations in parallel. Because if you think again of rendering a 3D scene, you can, for the most part, split the problem in many parts. Like there is the rendering of one model and there is the rendering of another model. So it's my character and your character. For the most part, they can be rendered independently. So there is in the GPU a lot of operations that can be vectorized and then can be run in parallel. So instead of multiplying an array element by element, you can multiply the whole array all at once. There are literal like transistors in the processor for doing multiplication in parallel, for instance. Yeah, you can do this on the CPU as well. You can do the vectorized operations on the CPU. It's called SIMD. But the GPU is really good at that in a large scale. SIMD stands for single instruction, multiple data. The instruction being like your multiplication and your data being like the elements in your vector or array. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And wow. Find seek lock location kernel. What's that about? Templates. It's about templates, I think. CUDA device synchronize. CUDA free. Where's the logic for this?
I guess that was at the top of the file.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it basically just computes it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is the first solution we came up with before we optimized it. Foti says using CUDA to solve programming problem is like using a PlayStation 5 to speedrun Pong. Let's see another one. I want to see the Vim one. Oops. Intervals and linear maps of intervals and composing linear maps into a single linear map. You do like some big words.
Yeah. But he's also written quite eloquently for somebody who's just trying to solve.
Now, I am a bit annoyed by this. And that. Wow. Wow. No. Language Python, code for both parts, 18 lines. Code for both parts in 18 lines. There is some yield.
Oh, it's the yield. So maybe you can just do it if you do it with yield, and therefore you don't allocate all that memory. Because he's using iterators. That's a good point, which I didn't think about.
That's interesting, because then you never realize the whole list at once.
Yeah, we should have done that.
That's cool. And it is exactly the same algorithm.
Yeah.
You will visit all the thousands, hundreds of thousands, or million of elements, but you will not visit all of them at once. You will not keep them all in your head at once. You will just visit them one by one. This will make your program perhaps slow, but it will not run out of memory.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to implement version 1 of our code with the brute force approach in using iterators for us? I want to see what that looks like. I don't want to implement it.
I would like to try it out, but maybe not now.
Yeah. Definitely not now. I meant as a treat for us tomorrow. Kotlin, Python and paper and pen, Python. I feel so dumb. The source and destination mix up. Python. I'm seeing less JavaScript than I thought I would.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll get on the Python train tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't have that much RAM on my computer. It's 8 gigabytes.
Yeah.
But I didn't. My solution is that just brute force part 0 by running the part 1 algorithm for every single seed value. It's not pretty and it's not clever, but it does give the right answer. It takes about 30 seconds on my 4. Okay. I'm deeply ashamed of myself. No, don't be.
Oh, God. This guy.
Perl Zote? Have never heard of that. Is it an esoteric programming language? No. Yeah. Okay. Ruby, Python, TypeScript. Finally, this is the first JavaScript one, right?
Yeah. May as well have a look.
Rust. Oh, okay.
We could probably also filter by.
I enumerated on ascending locations and check if I've got a seed for that location.
This might be the yield.
No, I think this was my first idea way back. Like, is the number one a possible solution? Work backwards from end to beginning.
Ah. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
For the first part, it's kind of a silly answer. For the second one, it's not so silly anymore. Problem inversed. Rather than enumerating an enormous amount of seeds, we enumerating on ascending locations and check if we have got seed for that location. Took about 8 seconds to compute. So yep, just go over the first 1 billion numbers and work your way backwards, which is very similar in spirit, just swapped source and destination, and you can use the same algorithm. And then yeah, eventually you find your answer. You find a seed that works. Not so bad. Not so bad.
Yeah. We could have considered that as well.
My solution is on a Commodore 64 in 5.6 seconds. Okay. R, C, C++, Nintendo DS. That's cute. Yeah, I think we should go to bed.
Yes.
But it was. I'm excited. I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm scared to be driving tomorrow, but I'm ready for it. I'm glad it was you today with all those ranges.
Well, thinking about the ranges was done together, I would say. And I would say that was the trickiest part, but we were thinking through that together because you were challenging me, like, what if the range overlaps like that? And I would say it was very much so a collaboration. I was just driving. And Fotis is saying you should solve the next challenge on that Mac OS 9 emulator. Yeah, Fotis showed an emulator for a Node Mac OS version. And, well, as long as that can run Node.js or Python, I don't really care. I'm not writing some very old C or C++ from here on out. Okay. Whew. First, let me say thank you to Fotis and I'm sorry, I will not be able to pronounce your name correctly, but I will pronounce it Hakikat, and John and Nick and Bo, and yeah, I think I said all of your names. So thank you all for being here on the chat with us. Wow, that was... It's almost 1 a.m. And most of all, thank you, David. You're the best.
Thank you, Leandro.
I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time.
Yes, absolutely.
See you tomorrow at 10 p.m. Have a good one, you all. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you for watching the stream. You know how great it has been. Or maybe it sucked, and I am glad that you stuck with me. And soon we'll all be back together for some more coding or talking or chilling. The next time I'll be streaming.